Hey, what's up? Hello, everyone. Welcome into Fantasy Filmball, the show where we turn movies into sports and sports into something we don't talk about here. My name is Matt.
My name is Dyl, and today we have something very fun. We are going over the shortlist categories, but we're doing a little bit different. We're making our final predictions of how we're feeling about the race, and then we'll see what the actual shortlist look like, and I'm sure we'll mess everything completely up.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. So, shortlist dropped about 20 minutes ago. Neither of us have looked at them. Like Dylan said, what we're going to do is we're going to give our shortlist predictions, and then we're going to see how right or how wrong we are, and then we're going to make new predictions based off of the actual results, which is going to be really, really fun. Let's get into this.
Why not? And let's dive off with a category that I know you've been talking up all year, Best International Feature.
This is the day of reckoning. I love when we hit this time in the race because it makes things so much more clear. The international feature race is always a little bit of a tricky one to get a handle on. There's usually some big misses that come with the shortlist. And this year, I'm going to be honest, I'm not really predicting any huge misses in the category, which is possibly going to lead to some big surprises when we actually look at what the shortlist is. You'll see my list right in the center between the two of us. As always, anything in purple is a film that I've seen. Anything not in purple is a film that I have yet to see. Let's kick things off. Number one, the zone of interest. If there's only one lock for this shortlist, it is the zone of interest. This is guaranteed to be here. I say that and then bam, what if it's not?
That would be insane if it didn't make
I
the
think
shortlist.
it's gonna be there. So it's going to win the category unquestionably. There's really no competition for it at this point. There's some other things that look solid for nomination and look near certain for the shortlist. And those things are Society of the Snow from Spain, Perfect Days from Japan, Fallen Leaves from Finland, Totem from Mexico. Those round up my top five.
Nice. Totem's in your top five now.
Totem is in my top five. It's been in my top five actually for quite a bit now because I have been juggling some things in my mind. I'll explain those in a moment. But yeah, this top five, I would be very shocked if any of those top five were missing from the short list. Now, I am balancing a few things here. Statistically looking at previous years, there's some patterns that we can observe. Most years, the international feature category features 3 European films and 2 non-European films. So in this case, the European films would be The Zone of Interest, Society of the Snow, and Fallen Leaves, and the non-European films would be Perfect Days and Totem. Last year, there were 4 European films and 1 non-European film, but that's a bit of an outlier year. Most years, it splits 3 to 2. Likewise, I can't go overboard on the Cannes representation. There's normally 2 or 3 titles from Cannes. You can't just stack a full lineup with all of them, which is why from Cannes, I have The Zone of Interest, Perfect Days, and Fallen Leaves. So I feel really solid with how my 5 works out at the moment. But of course, that can all change. At number 6, I have The Taste of Things from France. And this one, if it gets shortlisted, I feel like it's pretty strong for a nomination. The question I have is, we might see France really fumble the bag today and have The Taste of Things fully miss out on the shortlist. We've seen crazier things happen in this category in the past. It wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world. Taste of Things has just not been performing as it should be in the race, which really saddens me. It's one of my favorite films of the year. After that, there is The Teacher's Lounge from Germany. Looks very solid for this shortlist. I'd say it's pretty certain to be in there. 20 Days in Mariupol from Ukraine is the documentary frontrunner and really should be here. Now, this is an interesting thing today. We might see multiple documentaries get shortlisted, both in international feature and in documentary feature. And those would be my number 8 spot, 20 Days in Mariupol, my number 13 spot, 4 Daughters, and my number 15 spot, Smoke Sauna Sisterhood, as well as the possibility of The Mother of All Lies, which I do currently have missing the international shortlist. I also have Io Capitano from Italy at number 9. This got the Golden Globe nomination, but it has a pretty crappy distributor with Cohen Media Group, and I'm not expecting it to be a major player in the Oscar race, but I am expecting it to at least get the shortlist. There's The Peasants from Poland, the animated film, which I have at my number 10 most likely spot to show up here, followed by The Promised Land from Denmark, which once we believe might be a top 5 contender, About Dry Grasses from Turkey, another one that could show up here or could miss entirely, followed by, as I mentioned before, 4 Daughters, the documentary, The Settlers from Chile at number 14, which is one I feel very iffy on. I just don't know exactly what I would replace it with, and I feel good enough about it being here. And finally, the last one, Smoke's on a Sisterhood from Estonia. If any of these films miss, we could see Shada from Australia, The Monk and the Gun from Bhutan, which I know a lot of people have on their shortlist predictions, but I'm personally not predicting it at this point because the only thing we can go off of for precedent for The Monk and the Gun is Lunana, A Yak in the Classroom a few years ago, and I don't know if they're just going to go for the same thing again. That said, it is possible. I wouldn't put it past them, but it's not something I feel confident enough to bet on. Then there's The Breaking Ice from Singapore, Godland from Iceland, The Mother of All Lies from Morocco, and we can't forget one of the most acclaimed films of the year, Mamiwata from Nigeria. So that is my full predictions. Should we look at the list?
So we have Armenia with Amerikatsi.
Whoa, it wasn't even on my horizons. Okay, so one of mine's out.
So it sounds like you should have put Bhutan's The Monk and the Gun because it is here.
Oh, God. That's fine. They just like this filmmaker. They like him a lot.
We're jumping down to D for Denmark for The Promised Land, so no chili.
The Settlers is gone. I had a feeling. But Promised Land is here, so I've got one correct out of 3 so far.
The Golden Globe's favorite, Fallen Leaves, gets in for Finland.
Which means there's no Estonia, so I missed on Smoke's on Sisterhood.
France for The Taste of Things, so they do not get morbed.
So they didn't miss out here. That's good to know. France still probably fucked up because Anatomy of a Fall would win, but it wasn't as royal a fuck up as I was fearing it might be.
And to continue the European dominance in this category, we have Germany with The Teacher's Lounge.
All right.
Iceland's Godland.
Oh, wow. That is a very deserving film. I would love to see that get a nomination.
And then we have Italy's Lo Capitano.
Okay, cool. So I got 5.
So let's leave Europe to go to some other countries. Up first, we have Mexico's Totem.
Mexico's Totem, okay.
I said out of order. Yeah, no, scratch it. I said out of order. Next up, we have Japan's Perfect Days.
You scared me there. Dear God.
I know.
Dear God. Okay, 7.
Long day, yeah. Japan's Perfect Days, Mexico's Totem.
Okay, so I'm at 7. 7's pretty good. Mexico's Totem.
Morocco's The Mother of All Lies.
Oh, wow. That's the documentary that gets in.
Spain's Society of the Snow. Then we have Four Daughters from Tusina and 20 Days of Mariupol from Ukraine.
Which means one left. It's got to be Zone of Interest, right?
It is Zone of Interest from the United Kingdom.
That's pretty. 11 out of 15 is not bad at all. I'm pretty happy with that result. And my entire top 5 is there. So there's no changes for me. That said, the fact that Godland is here makes me think it's possible that could break into the category.
Nothing really major missed out, like sure, some people may say The Peasants, but that wasn't, I don't think, for real anyway. So
no,
yeah, I would say the consensus top 9's all here.
People from saying, oh, The Peasants is going to be the 5th film in animation. No, at this point, just accept it. It's Robot Dreams.
Well, 3 documentary features made the international shortlist. Let's dive into what your current top 15 is for documentary feature before we reveal the shortlisted 15.
Oh, let's hit this. So my top 5 right here, I feel like all of these are relatively safe. 20 Days in Mariupol, I think right now feels near locked for a win. Maybe a little bit presumptuous to say, but what's going to take it down? Beyond Utopia? It's not going to happen. The Eternal Memory is coming back with a vengeance. It is hitting everywhere it needs to. It should show up here today for sure. American Symphony is one that looks very promising. Honestly, it's on track to get a nomination now, even though I had previously doubted it. There's also Four Daughters, The Mother of All Lies, the 2 international shortlisted films, and they're going to be competing for the same kind of spot in that documentary feature top 5. Following this up with Bobi Wine, The People's President, a film I have not seen but have heard wonderful things about. It's not really getting nominated for many critic awards, but it's hitting a lot of the larger documentary bodies that are needed for that Oscar nomination. There's also Smoke's on a Sisterhood, which just missed international feature. Might be a bad omen for this lineup as well. Going to Mars, the Nikki Giovanni project, is my next pick. This is a big Sundance winner. It kind of disappeared for a very long time, but it's been picking up some buzz over the past few months. Against the Tide, which feels a little bit like it could be this year's All That Breathes or A House Made of Splinters. There's always an artist documentary that's pretty conventional here. And for that, I'm going to go with Little Richard, I Am Everything. Following that, I have Kokomo City, The Mission, which is the new film from the directors of Boys State. At number 14, Stamped from the Beginning. And 15, I have Lakota Nation versus the United States. I am predicting two pretty major snubs here. The first one being still a Michael J. Fox movie, which is far and away leading with critics groups at the moment. It won the Critics' Choice Award, and it has basically won every small critic group documentary prize. Now, that said, this type of film often misses the shortlist. For example, last year, Goodnight Oppie, which was the similar critics frontrunner, it missed the shortlist. Val, a couple of years ago, missed the shortlist, and it was a similar position, maybe a little bit less beloved, but it was definitely picking up those critic wins. So I'm expecting still a Michael J. Fox movie not to make it here. Same with Menus Plaisir Les Trois Gros, which is the Frederick Wiseman film, which has been cleaning up with a lot of the more highbrow critic groups. This is a 4-hour documentary, and this one, while it did win New York Film Critics Circle and LA Film Critics Circle, I don't think it's going to get in here. It missed getting a single Critics' Choice documentary nomination. It hasn't been really showing up at any of those other bodies, and I don't think it's going to be here. And finally, Apollonia. Apollonia would be my final pick for an outside chance at the shortlist. Now, Dylan, what is on the shortlist?
Well, my beloved American Symphony kicks things off. So following up American Symphony, we have Apollonia.
Okay.
Beyond Utopia.
Okay, so I'm missing Against the Tide.
Bobby Wine, The People's President.
There we go.
Desperate Souls, Dark City, and The Legend of Midnight Cowboy.
I have literally never heard of that before.
Then we have The Eternal Memory.
Good
Four
choice.
Daughters.
Good pick. Four Daughters. Very happy to see that here.
Going to Mars, The Nikki Giovanni Project.
All right.
In the Rear View.
Oh, wow. I didn't think they'd go for that.
Stamped from the Beginning.
Stamped from the Beginning. Okay, so that is 7, and they're missing Smokes on a Sisterhood. Oh, and they missed The Mother of All Lies, which is shortlisted for international, but not in documentary.
Well, you know what they didn't miss? Still a Michael J. Fox movie.
Whoa, okay. I shouldn't
here.
be surprised by that. But now that that's here, it might actually be a top 5 contender.
Hey, it made the shortlist. That's sometimes the hardest thing to overcome for these celebrity doc. But I mean, we have American Symphony, we have Still here. I doubt both can live, so one of them I feel like will make our 5.
What else is on the list?
We have A Still Small Voice.
Oh, man, that's so cool.
32 Sounds.
32 Sound. Wow, okay.
To Kill a Tiger. And 20 Days in Mariupol.
Okay, so I think I got 8 of them right. That's a worse performance than I did with international, but they made some pretty cool choices here. Despite the fact that my top 5 is all here, I think I actually am going to make a change, and I'm going to say that since Still, a Michael J. Fox movie, made it in, I'm actually going to put it at number 2. It's the only thing that I think can challenge 20 Days in Mariupol. I'm going to knock American Symphony out of my top 5.
That is now going to move us over to Best Original Score, which I will take. And then shout out to Brother Bros Award Expert app. I have my top 15 projected over there, so I'm going to read that off here. Number 1 is Oppenheimer. 2, I have Killers of the Flower Moon. I still believe that one of these two will probably walk away with at the end of the day. It's just Killers seems to be winning some of these earlier awards, but Ludwig, people love him. Oppenheimer's score is so in the zeitgeist. I just feel like it could sustain the momentum over time. But if Killers keeps rising the ranks, Gladstone's a possible upset and actress score could come along with that. Number 3, I have the score for Poor Things. Then at number 4, I have American Fiction, and at my number 5 slot, I have Society of the Snow for my top 5 at the moment.
Wow.
Society,
that's a bold
Giacchino.
call.
They don't like Giacchino. Year in, year out, they show this again and again. The people who have seen this movie rave about the score, and I know he missed for the Batman last year. So, like, to me, maybe some people are like, oh, we forgot about him last year. This year, like, we have a clear top 3, but 4 and 5 are kind of open. Let's try to, push him up a little bit. Plus, Netflix is backing him up. They don't really have another major score in the race, so they could kind of make it a lot higher than what it could be without Netflix backing. And then, as I mentioned, I also have American Fiction, which missed out on the Globe, but still, I just think this will help the movie's overall package. Jeffrey Wright, screenplay, and score to get to 4 nominations. So at number 6, I currently have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and 7, I have The Zone of Interest. 2 movies that have been showing up pretty well, a lot better than what I thought they would, but also have something major going against them. The Zone of Interest score is like 20 minutes long, and it's very abstract, kind of similar to Poor Things. Can they put 2 abstract scores in their top 5? And then for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I've said this in other episodes, kind of like with Giacchino, they just don't seem to like Pemberton.
Where has this score missed yet? Where's it?
It hasn't missed everywhere, but you could say the same with Pinocchio. They just don't like movies.
Disagree with that. They nominated Encanto a couple years ago. I think that
It's a musical, though.
Pinocchio missing last year, if anything, was more of a show of them not being as passionate about the film as we initially expected them being. And also, Desplat has just had a bad luck streak. I don't know if we can say the exact same with Spider-Man.
Well, to round out the rest of my top 15, because there's not really much to talk about the rest of these, I have The Boy and the Heron. Yes, it's been hitting so far. I just see that not being the animated one they would pluck in a top 5, but maybe it can with the love that the film's been getting overall. At 9, I have Elemental. 10, I have Ferrari, another Daniel Pemberton score. 11 is Rustin. 12 is The Creator. 13 is Naiad. 14 is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and 15 is Past Lives. Past Lives just screams like, we're not making an end. This is the one people are like, what? Past Lives didn't get in. But, I mean, I know you disagree, but the Past Lives score is memorable.
A couple things. You're not predicting Barbie to be on the shortlist?
There's no score.
There's a score. There's definitely
It's the songs. It's the songs. It's the instrumental of the songs.
No, there's a score for sure. There is absolutely a score.
Well, if it makes the shortlist, it makes the shortlist. But I'm writing on that.
I would go so far as to say Barbie is getting nominated.
Well, I think it would not qualify as being eligible for the Oscars, and I will gladly assume I'm wrong, but
it's on the qualification list, though.
There is no score. It's just the songs.
What do you think about the possibility of Saltburn?
See, I just don't really remember the score being all that memorable, but if it's been showing up, yeah, it's probably in over something like maybe like a Naiad or a Ferrari or something like that.
My dream shortlist here would be 1001.
I would love that too. It's probably my third favorite score of the year, but I just think that's way too small for them. They don't really reach for those smaller movies in the score category.
Now, what are you feeling about The Color Purple and The Killer?
I feel like The Killer came and went. Like, obviously, it had good numbers on Netflix, but I don't feel like people talked about it outside of, like, the award circuit. People who love Fincher, movie heads, I don't feel like it really hit much larger than that. For Color Purple, I mean, you and I kind of felt the same when we watched it. It's not very memorable, but again, Cyrano made the shortlist when that had a completely remade score, so maybe Color Purple has the same angle here.
Now to reveal the shortlisted picks. Now, I'm going to start off with some of the obvious choices here. Oppenheimer is here.
Okay.
Killers of the Flower Moon is here. Poor Things is here.
Top 3.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is here.
Yeah, it would be weird if it missed.
Zone of Interest.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
All right, so I've given you 5 so far. Society of the Snow.
Giacchino shortlist. He doesn't have that happen often, so looking good.
American Symphony.
I mean, hey, they could give that movie 3 nominations if they really wanted to.
If they really want to, they absolutely could. American Fiction.
Okay.
The Boy and the Heron.
Yeah.
Elemental.
Cool, Newman.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Of course.
Saltburn.
You called it.
Now some wild picks.
Gotcha.
Barbie.
Okay.
It's getting a nomination. I swear to God, it's getting a nomination, man.
So dumb.
The Color Purple.
Hey, I said if Cyrano can get it, why can't Color Purple? So that checks out.
And this is the last one. This is the one that is the most confusing on the list, because I watched this movie a few days ago, and I don't remember a score outside of the soundtrack, The Holdovers.
Okay. I mean, maybe that just shows that the Academy likes this movie more than the Globes did.
Dude, it's a wild short list. I legitimately can't remember a score outside of the Cat Stevens song and the Damien Jurado song.
So that's kind of equivalent to Barbie for me, because there is no original score, because it's just nominating the songs that you like and their instrumentals. But I mean, I would still rather have that than the Holdovers one.
So what's missing here? We are missing Ferrari from your list, Rustin, The Creator, Naiad, Alexander Desplat gets morbed once more, and Past Lives. That's one of 3 nominations I could have seen for Past Lives, and it's not here.
I mean, some people love Greta Lee and want her in the 5. I don't see a logical argument for her to be in, especially if you love a movie, it's Margot Robbie, not Greta Lee getting that nomination. But yeah, Past Lives, like I just said in my predictions, like it's my 15, like sure, but also it seems easy to just like not include. It's very minimal.
Are you just going to keep your top 5 for right now?
Yeah, my same top 5's in, but
cool.
Spider-Verse is still my number 6.
All right, let's move on to Best Original Song.
So currently, this is not really in a real order outside of my top 5 is What Was I Made For and I'm Just Ken from Barbie. Keep It Moving from The Color Purple, The Fire Inside, our typical Diane Warren slot, and This Wish from Wish. Barbie songs feel locked in. I also have Dance Night making the shortlist. They'll pick which two they want the most. I feel like Dance Night's the one that doesn't get in, but I wouldn't be shocked if Dance Night takes out I'm Just Ken for that additional Barbie song nomination. Keep It Moving, I mean, Color Purple just showed up in score, so maybe Keep It Moving can show some life in song. And This Wish, Disney, even when the movies miss animated feature, the songs still usually get into song, like with Frozen 2. I have Road to Freedom for Rustin I really want to put in. I've been saying all year long to you, Lenny Kravitz is a name, people like him, he's never been nominated, this seems like the perfect time. Also gives more life to Coleman Domingo, an actor. It's just, what do I take out? Smart would probably take out Wish or Color Purple. It never went away. Shortlist confirmed with John Baptiste. Then I have some more of the big stretches. We have Better Place and A World of Your Own and Can't Catch Me Now. 3 songs I would have expected to maybe compete for that Globe 6 slot. 3 songs that all missed the Globe slot, so maybe they are not as strong as I thought before. Steal the Show, Elemental, the score just made the shortlist, so maybe the song can as well. Quiet Eyes from Past Lives, I still feel like it's the Parasite song where it gets on the shortlist, but it's number 15. Addicted to Romance got nominated at the Globes, random nomination. I needed a 15th song, so it kind of fit in kind of perfectly. Flora and Son, I haven't seen it, but I know it's a musical, so I would assume there's at least one song they could submit. So I don't know the name of the song, but a Flora and Son song. Put it in here.
So you're just straight up not predicting Peaches in your top 15 whatsoever.
No, like I said all year, Peaches is not real. The Oscars would never touch that. Globe,
it's
CCA
not real,
but
it got Globes, it got CCA.
They were always going to do it though. The Globes and CCA were always going to bite on Peaches. The Oscars would never put it in their top 15.
And you're really not gonna consider the Spider-Man song "Am I Dreaming"? I
mean, I guess maybe I could put that in over Addicted to Romance. So, but I'll stay with Globe nominee Addicted to Romance.
You know what my dream shortlist would be here? Out Alpha the Alpha from Dix the Musical.
If we're going down that line, I would really like to see the Asteroid City song that they sing with the banjo and the kid.
Should we get started on this?
Yeah, let's dive in.
All right. Well, you just mentioned a joke song that you wanted to be nominated. And it's in the shortlist. Dear Alien Who Art in Heaven, Asteroid City.
Let's go. 0 chance of a nomination, but I like seeing that you make the shortlist.
Some obvious shortlists. I'm just going to go through some of the obvious ones. It Never Went Away from American Symphony.
Gotcha. John Baptiste. People
Dance
love
the
him.
Night from Barbie.
1 Barbie song.
I'm Just Ken from Barbie.
2 Barbie songs.
What Was I Made For from Barbie.
All 3.
Diane Warren's got a slot here. The Fire Inside. Flamin' Hot.
Does she not have a second slot, or is it just this one?
No second slot. Gonna Be You is not here. You made the right call.
I feel like that's smart for them too. If they put both, would they just cancel each other out? I think so.
And the last obvious slot that I'm going to talk about here, Road to Freedom from Rustin.
Yeah, Lenny Kravitz in the shortlist. He may move to my top 5 now.
Your number 3 slot is also here. Keep It Movin' from The Color Purple.
Cool. Glad to see that it shows life after missing Globe.
Also from The Color Purple, Superpower 1.
Is that the credits song?
So I don't remember the song. I think it's the credits song, but it's here.
Okay.
Also on your list, Can't Catch Me Now from The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Boom.
Quiet Eyes from Past Lives.
Parasite song, check.
High Life from Flora and Son.
I knew a song would get it. I just didn't know what the songs were in that movie.
Well, you could have picked either song because Meet in the Middle from Flora and Son is also here. 2 Flora and Son songs.
Can't get a Globe Comedy Musical Actress nomination, but can get 2 Oscar song shortlists.
So, what's left on your list that I haven't mentioned yet? This
let's
Wish?
See. Yeah, This Wish.
Better Place. A World of Your Own. Steal
Family
the
movie
Show.
songs. Family
Addicted
movie
to
songs.
Romance. I'm going to tell you right now,
songs.
none of those songs are here.
Wow, Wish is out.
Wish is gone.
I don't like that, but I mean, This Wish was the worst song from Wish, so I guess it makes sense.
I think you might like some of the picks that they made instead.
Okay,
A Song
let's hear
for
it.
My People from Killers of the Flower Moon.
Okay, inspired.
And actually, sorry, I take that back. You're not going to like this last one. You've been railing against it all season.
Yeah.
Am I Dreaming?
Spider-Verse,
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Hey, it made it.
At least it wasn't Peaches.
I'll take my L. I said no one knows the songs from that movie, but boom, here it is.
Now that we are missing Wish, what are you putting in your top 5? Your top 4 are all still there.
Yeah, Lenny Kravitz, Road to Freedom, slides right in.
Slides right
Honestly,
in. Okay.
it probably goes up to number 3 over Keep It Moving, and then Keep It Moving's 4, Fire Inside's 5.
So let's move to the next category, which is Best Makeup and Hair. I'm going to be taking this one, and I am a little nervous on what could show up here. So first off, there are 2 films that I think are safe. Those are the only 2 films I think are safe. But Maestro and Poor Things are here. They are safe for a nomination. I would also say that Barbie, Guardians, those 2 are likely locked for the shortlist. I'm very confident we're going to see those here, and those are likely to be nominated too. I'm breaking on saying all year long Barbie won't get nominated because it's just hair, because I think the movie is big enough that they won't care. They'll just want to nominate it no matter what. Then at my number 5 slot, I have Oppenheimer currently. I could see this kind of fall off. Then to round out my top 10, I currently have The Color Purple. If it were to get into Best Picture, you'd kind of want makeup to be part of its package. Then I'm following that up with Killers of the Flower Moon, likely to get in for the sick makeup that we see throughout the film. Golda comes after as a little bit of a long shot that you've been pushing all year long with our caked up Helen Mirren. Helen Mirren got that cake. Now, my final 2 slots are Hail Marys, because thinking back to last year, we got a couple of wild picks. And those wild picks last year included Crimes of the Future. And this year, I have one Crimes of the Future-esque shortlist mention, which is Beau is Afraid. It just got a Golden Globe nomination. So Beau is Afraid feels a little bit stronger right now. And I'm also thinking of Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves for the orc makeup throughout, and some of the other stuff that's been done.
Let's dive into our makeup and hairstyling shortlist, and your confidence, your bold swing paid off. Beau is Afraid leads things off.
Yo! Wait, are you alphabetical?
Yep.
Barbie.
Out of here.
Whoa.
2 straight weeks.
Whoa.
You cave on your bold prediction. Oppenheimer and VFX, Barbie and makeup and hairstyling, and it just bites you in the butt.
Bro, yeah, because I did the exact same shit with visual effects. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I thought
crazy.
Barbie would just coast.
I can understand it missing the nomination, but missing the short list?
That's Everything Ever All at Once missing VFX level craziness. But that said, Everything Ever All at Once did also miss the makeup shortlist last year. I believe. The makeup branch, I guess, doesn't just go for what the Academy is most passionate about overall.
So that's going to bring us to Ferrari. Vroom Vroom has some makeup and hairstyling, I guess.
Okay, so we're skipping Dungeons & Dragons. That's out of here.
We are. Then we go to Miss Caked Up herself, Helen Mirren, Golda.
I credit you fully for that. That is a good pick on your part.
You know, each year I have one swing that pays off.
Whoa. The Color Purple's gone.
Guardians is gone too.
Guardians is gone. Oh, whoa.
And Color Purple. Shocking.
What?
Shocking. They don't like hair this year. They're really doubling down that we hate hairstyling.
But Guardians of the Galaxy has like non-stop prosthetics. Everyone's wearing they have a full planet where everyone's decked out in animal makeup. What? Well,
we have Killers of the Flower Moon.
Okay.
And
we're back to making sense.
This next one is our What the Fuck nomination of the year, because we have Dracula on a Boat, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Makeup and hairstyling shortlist. Boom, 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 boom.
They did on a boat. Double Crimes of the Future nominations. I'm happy Beau is Afraid is here, though. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, the makeup in Last Voyage of the Demeter is good. You just don't see enough of Dracula to or Nosferatu to really get a sense of what the makeup's doing. But what we do see is really good. Then we have some obvious nominations like Maestro, Napoleon, Little Frenchman survives another week.
I just took Napoleon out of my makeup list. That's wild.
Then we have Oppenheimer.
Okay. I was really worried that was going to miss and that chaos would reign.
Our last 2 are Poor Things and Society of the Snow.
Now I have to adjust my list quite a bit because Maestro, Poor Things, Oppenheimer are the only survivors from my top 5. So Maestro and Poor Things stay at 1 and 2. I think I'm going to have to slide Killers of the Flower Moon in. It kind of makes sense as a nomination at this point. I'm going to have to see Ferrari before I make a call on that one. I'm between Golda and
caked up makeup.
I'm between Golda and Napoleon.
Beau, Voyage of the Demeter, and Society are probably non-factors for the most part. So at least it's 7.
I would say that Beau is Afraid has a good shot if they really knock it out of the park with their bake-off. What I'm gonna do here is Maestro, Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Golda. That's wild, though. Man, those are the biggest snubs of the season so far.
Well, I think that leads us over into Best Sound, where we could have some major snubs. And so my current top 10 in this category are Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Color Purple, Napoleon, and The Zone of Interest round out my top 5. Oppie, for sure, winner. Killers of the Flower Moon. We both had some sound issues with the movie, but no one else on the pundit side or the awards voting side has really noticed these errors as well. Color Purple struggling here. Napoleon's hit everything so far. Zone of Interest, it hit scores. I feel good for making the sound shortlist. Maestro, if something above misses, could easily slide into our top 5, as I've been teasing for the last few weeks. Vroom Vroom Ferrari movie makes sense for a short list. Across the Spider-Verse, Creator, Guardians, Marvel always gets one movie. The Creator just seems so much like sound bait for short list. And Spider-Verse, I mean, Soul got here. I'm sure other anime movies have recently as well.
I have the exact same top 10 as you, just in a different order. I do think you should have Maestro in your top 5. Now, some things that could make it in here. Society of the Snow could easily take something out. I think it could take out Color Purple. Should we look at the results?
Full send it right here. ABC order. Right. Let's go.
ABC order. Let's go. Okay, let me just...
Watch Barbie make it.
Barbie.
Oh, of course. They just love Barbie. Gotcha. Not enough for makeup and hairstyling, though.
The Creator.
Boom. Cool. Sound bait.
Which means what's out?
Color Purple.
Color Purple's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's dead. Done.
Wow.
If you were still putting it in editing, it's done. It's out.
Yeah. Out for both of those. Gosh. Okay.
Ferrari.
Vroom Vroom.
Whoa. The Killer.
Other Vroom Vroom movie. Like that nomination.
Killers of the Flower Moon. They didn't cut it. Maestro.
Gotcha. Maestro's probably my 5 now that Color Purple missed. We missed Guardians. No Marvel movie this year.
No Marvel movie this year. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
You know.
We didn't even think it was possible. At this point, it could make the visual effects list.
John
Napoleon.
Wick should have got that nomination. John Wick's... Or Napoleon, yes. Short King Rise Up.
Oppenheimer.
Of course.
And we're at the last one. Can you guess what it is?
Zone
of Interest. We're missing Spider-Man.
No Society of the Snow.
No Society of the Snow, no Spider-Man, no Color Purple. Otherwise, you did pretty well on this list. You missed Barbie, you missed The Killer, you missed Mission Impossible. So 7 out of 10, that is not too bad. Now, that said, one of your top 5 got knocked out. Are you putting in Maestro or are you putting in Vroom Vroom Ferrari?
Maestro probably gets it for the time being. I haven't seen Ferrari. I know people who have seen Ferrari say that just like Killers of the Flower Moon, there's some really bad audio mixing errors, but maybe they just don't care because it is Vroom Vroom at the end of the day.
And there's apparently the crash sequences are phenomenal with the sound.
Well, that brings us to our final category of best visual effects for the short list here today, and that is going to be another one where there is only 10. The Creator has hit everything so far. I guess it missed score, but I'd say everything else is needed to so far, so I'm going to say it gets in here for visual effects. It's my current number 1 with Oppenheimer. Dead to the world, dead in a ditch. Then we have Guardians finally making a short list. If it misses this, Marvel, yikes. Oppenheimer would have been my 3, but because it's gone, Godzilla's rising up the ranks, so I feel like...
I could see it win if it's nominated.
I don't know about that, but maybe. So I'll put it at 3. Napoleon's made everything so far, so it'll be my 4. I don't like how I have Napoleon so high in so many categories, but hey, it seems very likely for these short lists. And I'm still riding with Dial of Destiny is going to be a visual effects nomination. Say what you want about the movie, but the VFX work is good to people who are in the industry. At least they say it's good. So I feel like if it has a bake-off, it can get itself into that nomination pretty easily. Then to round out my 10, we have Society of the Snow, Poor Things, Dungeons & Dragons, which I don't really want to put in my top 10, but you've convinced me these last few weeks. John Wick 4, but that probably should be Mission Impossible. So last minute switch, changing John Wick to Mission Impossible. I would have assumed John Wick would have got the sound over Mission Impossible. And then I have Spider-Verse at my number 10.
Don't write off Transformers and don't write off Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
Again, should we do that? Do you want it in order of like, oh, these are the expected, or do you want it alphabetical?
Let's go alphabetical here.
The Creator.
Boom. Winner.
Godzilla -1.
Gotcha. Love to see it.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
There you go, Marvel. 1 short list this year.
Which this does mean Dungeons & Dragons is gone.
I caved.
You caved.
Well,
You pulled a me. Indiana
tragic.
Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Sleep all you want. I still think this is in our top 5.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Sure.
Good last minute switch.
I wouldn't have switched it if I didn't know the sound shortlist thing. So take that as you want. But Napoleon, boom, another one that we've been saying for a while seems like likely for nomination, and it shows up here.
Poor Things.
Love to see it.
Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire.
Zaddy Snyder.
Society of the Snow.
Boom. Okay.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
surprising that it got visual effects but missed sound.
So you got 9 out of 10 here.
More like 8. I don't want to give myself credit for that John Wick one, but yeah. I mean, pretty good. I mean, I think visual effects was pretty clear after we saw the long list, because there's a lot of movies missing from the long list. Like, obviously, Oppenheimer's missing, Little Mermaid was missing, The Killer was missing, so I feel like stuff that you would have in your top 15 were already booted, so it made your top 10 a little easier to pile together.
Are you keeping your 5 the same? None of them missed?
Yeah, I still the same top 5, but I could see Society of the Snow take out Napoleon.
I really think you're sleeping on Spider-Verse.
We said that in every category.
All right. Now, before we sign off today, because this has been all of our predictions, our new predictions, our old predictions, and reactions, I do want to just go through the short film categories. We could make some predictions based on the names of like what sounds like a winner. I'm going to be trying to watch all 45 of these short films before the nominations happen. This is my first tease of, what is in store. So, documentary short film, the 15 shortlisted films are The ABCs of Book Banning, heard good things about this one, The Barber of Little Rock, Bear, Between Earth and Sky, Black Girls Play, The Story of Hand Games, Camp Courage, Deciding Vote, How We Get Free, If Dreams Were Lightning, Rural Healthcare Crisis, Island in Between, The Last Repair Shop, Last Song from Kabul, Nai Nai and Waipo, Oasis, and Wings of Dust. I am going to go all in for The ABCs of Book Banning.
I mean, most of these titles are very forgettable titles. Nothing's really jumping out at me. But ABC of Book Banning, I've also heard about this one before. So the fact that I've heard about it, I don't pay attention really to this category at all until we get shortlist, has to speak for at least some part.
Next one I have is animated short film, Boom, Eva, Smoke, I'm Hip, A Kind of Testament, Dog Apartment, Letter to a Pig, 95 Senses, Disney's Once Upon a Studio, Our Uniform, Pachyderm, Pete, 27, War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko, and Wild Summon. So off of that list, the only title that I know here is Once Upon a Studio from Disney, which has gotten immense acclaim. I could see Once Upon a Studio win, especially if they snub Wish. Alternately, though, I could see Once Upon a Studio not even get nominated.
It's one of the few ones I've actually heard from this category. Crazy enough, this didn't show in front of When I Saw Wish. And I saw Wish like opening week, and they didn't show this in front, which to me was kind of lame. But looking at other names that kind of stand out, War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko, maybe. I don't really know what this category likes to do with like big name people, but that's at least an eye-catching title.
And then finally, the live action short films. The big question here is, do the high-profile short films from Pedro Almodovar and Wes Anderson make it into the category? And if they make it into the shortlist, can they make it to the nomination? So the shortlisted films in order are The After, The Anne Frank Gift Shop, An Avocado Pit, Bienvenidos a Los Angeles, Dead Cat, Good Boy, Invincible, Invisible Border, Night of Fortune, The One Note Man, Red, White, and Blue, The Shepherd, Strange Way of Life by Pedro Almodovar, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar by Wes Anderson, and Yellow. So my immediate reaction is, oh, it's going to be The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar because it's Wes Anderson. But this category doesn't work like that. They often do not nominate the high-profile filmmakers, and both Pedro Almodovar and Wes Anderson would be some of the largest names nominated in this category ever, really. And to me, that says that neither of those films will be nominated. But I don't know any of the other films. The one that's grabbing my attention the most at this point is the Anne Frank Gift Shop. But if it gets nominated, I do think The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar wins.
I think it would be fun if Strange Way of Life and Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar both get nominated and then neither win. What that movie would be
wild.
Not really sure, but at least look at names. Dead Cat sounds like it could be interesting. Good Boy, Night of Fortune. At least this category has some like interesting eye-catching titles, unlike some of the other ones.
Well, I'm so excited to get into these, and a few weeks from now, once I've watched all the films, we are going to do a little talk on what you should know about each of these titles before you predict the categories. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a comment. Let us know what you think about these shortlists. What are you predicting? My name is Matt.
My name is Dyl, and this is Fantasy Filmball.